Mavs fans, welcome into today's show. And I want to remind you that Father's Day is coming up. It's on Sunday. And don't worry, Fanatics has got you covered. When you go to chatsports.com/MavsMask1, you can get these great deals for your dad today on Father's Day. So go check that out, and I'll tell you a little bit more later in today's show. Now let's start off with some rumors and news about our Dallas Mavericks, starting off with Maxi Kleber. Bleacher Report put out an article, and they're saying one secret weapon and one player that can really shake things up in the NBA when it comes back to Orlando. And one of those players that they mentioned was Maxi Kleber of the Dallas Mavericks. Now, we all know Maxi. He's one of our fan favorites. You know that I love him, and I talk about him plenty of times on this show. I love interacting with you guys in the comment section about him because it shows just how much you guys love him. But this guy gets it done on both ends of the floor. He's a lob threat, and he's a good stretch five. He gets it done defensively, and this year, his numbers have continued to steadily improve. This year, he's averaging 9.2 points per game, a little over 5 rebounds, blocking more than one shot per game, and shooting over 37% from three. And all those things are really, really important to what Maxi Kleber does for this Dallas Mavericks team, because the three-point percentage has taken a huge step forward. He's really shown that he can be a reliable scorer, but not only is he a good three-point shooter, he's a good shot blocker as well. In fact, he guards forwards and he guards big men as well. His versatility really shows here. When you look at the guys that have made at least 100 three-pointers this year, along with blocking at least 75 shots, Maxi Kleber is one of just 4 of them. Now, along with his teammate, Kristaps Porzingis, who really probably does it better than anybody in the league with 126 three-pointers made and over 100 blocked shots. Jaren Jackson Jr. is having an outstanding year as well. Really good three-point shooter for the Memphis Grizzlies. Robert Covington, surprised he made it on this list. Didn't know he was blocking as many shots as he is at 148 threes made and exactly 80 blocked shots. And then you got Maxi Kleber right there. 107 three-pointers, 78 blocks. Now, the other 3 guys on this list, they're all starters for this team. Maxi Kleber, on the other hand, comes off the bench and does it and gets it done just as well. Now, I want to expand it even more and tell you just how good of a shooter Maxi is compared to the rest of the league. When you look at guys that are at least 6'10" tall, they've made at least 100 three-pointers, and they're shooting at least 37% from three. There's only 6 of them. The first 3, the top 3, Davis Bertans from the Washington Wizards, Danilo Gallinari of the Oklahoma City Thunder, and again, you have him there, Jaren Jackson Jr., but not far behind those 3. You got Nemanja Bjelica of the Sacramento Kings, Karl Anthony Towns, a star for the Minnesota Timberwolves, and then you got Maxi Kleber right there with some of the best shooters, some of the best big men shooters in the NBA today. But I guess the secret weapon is kind of out of the bag now. I guess everyone kind of knows about Maxi Kleber. And, one of the lineups that really worked for Rick Carlisle was this one right here. You get Luka Doncic and Tim Hardaway Jr. in the backcourt together, and then you have a really, really big front line. You've got Dorian Finney-Smith at the small forward position, Kristaps Porzingis playing the 5, and Maxi Kleber at the 4. Now, usually Seth Curry is in there alongside these guys, and Maxi Kleber's out. Dorian Finney-Smith slides over to the 4, but when you're going up against some bigger teams, maybe like the New Orleans Pelicans with Zion Williamson and a Derek Favors, you want Maxi Kleber in the starting 5. I'm a big fan of his game. It's definitely a fan favorite. He's become one of the most reliable players and one of the biggest bargains in the NBA because of the way he can shoot, because of the way he can defend on the other side of the ball. But here's the question I have for you guys to kind of end this one little segment. What should be the Mavs' go-to starting 5? Which one do you like the most? Not when everyone's healthy, not when Dwight Powell and Jalen Brunson are back, but what they have right now. So let me kind of give you a refresher. Usually they've got Luka, Seth, Tim Hardaway Jr., Dorian Finney-Smith, Kristaps Porzingis. That's your 5. But maybe you want Maxi Kleber in there. Maybe you want a Willie Cauley-Stein. Maybe you want a wild card Boban Marjanovic. Whoever it may be, let me know in the comment section below. Now, one guy who could make some sense for the Mavs coming back to Orlando is Isaiah Thomas. And he seems to think so because one of my loyal followers and a loyal watcher, Mikey Malone, tweeted at me. He said, what if the Mavs signed IT, in reference to Isaiah Thomas, to replace Jalen Brunson for the rest of the season? Now, you got to remember, players are eligible to be signed now. They're going to open up some roster spots for teams to sign. But he added Isaiah Thomas and myself. And little did we know, Isaiah Thomas liked that tweet. He said, oh, that guy wants me to cover the Mavs. The Mavs are interested in me. He clicked the big heart on that tweet. So is Isaiah Thomas interested in coming to Dallas to be a replacement for Jalen Brunson? Well, let's pump the brakes a little bit. This guy's 31 years old. He's super injury prone, and he only played in 40 games for the Washington Wizards. Now, another thing, is that he is super, super undersized. Yes, he had those years in Boston where he was legitimately an MVP candidate. Some people forget that he was averaging 28 points per game for a very good Boston team. But since then, he has been a shell of his former self. And really the biggest reason I say no thank you to Isaiah Thomas in Dallas, they've got an undersized point guard. They have an undersized veteran point guard already on the roster in JJ Barea. He's averaging 7.5 points per game, 3.8 assists, and a little over 38% from three. Now, JJ isn't playing quite as much as Isaiah Thomas is. Isaiah Thomas has played quite a few more games, and he did pretty well in Washington this year, putting up 12 points per game and 3 assists, 41% from three, a little surprising even though he didn't take that many, and shot a little over 40% from the field. But he's 5'9". JJ Barea is 5'10". I'm not so sure that's a point guard that I want in Dallas. So the question I have for Mavs fans is, who should the Dallas Mavericks sign before the season restarts? Maybe you do want an Isaiah Thomas. Maybe you want somebody else that's out in the open market like a Jamal Crawford. I talked about it on a show last week. Maybe a Devin Harris. So let me know in the comment section, who do you want to see the Mavs pick up before the season gets going again in Orlando? Now, Mavs fans, I told you at the top of the show that Fanatics is going to help all of us out with some great Dad's Day gifts because Father's Day is coming up. And you got to figure out what you want for your dad. You don't want to buy him the same old pair of underwear, same old pair of socks that he always gets every single year. You want to get him something he's actually going to use. So when you go to chatsports.com/MavsMask1, you'll get these Mavs face masks to keep your dad safe and keep your dad healthy all throughout Father's Day and well beyond. Now, the greatest thing about this, when you use our promo code, these masks will ship in 2 days. So you can get them. You don't have to worry about missing out on a Father's Day gift. You will get them as soon as possible. So again, that's chatsports.com/MavsMask1. Now let's talk about one more guy, one more little rumor here. It's DeMarcus Cousins. You guys have been tweeting at me relentlessly about getting DeMarcus Cousins to Dallas, and I've been holding off on responding because I wanted to do it in a video for my loyal watchers and loyal subscribers here on Chat Sports and on the All Things Mavs YouTube channel. Now, DeMarcus Cousins hasn't played since the 2019 playoffs when he was with the Golden State Warriors. He tore his quad, and then he tore his ACL. He's blown out his Achilles. He's had a lot of really big injuries. It's been really hard to see him come back. And then he signed with the Los Angeles Lakers, and they said, okay, he's probably not going to play until the playoffs roll around. Well, then we get a hiatus, and now he has even more time off. And yes, he's going to be eligible to be signed and picked up by a team in Orlando before Orlando hits, but I'm not 100% sure that's going to happen. Last time we saw Boogie Cousins on the court was, like I said, when he was with the Warriors last season in 2019. He averaged 7.6 points per game, a little more than 5 rebounds and 2 assists, and he shot 25% from three. Not good at all. But he was doing all this in about 15 minutes. So not terrible numbers from a big man in DeMarcus Cousins. So me personally, I say no thank you. I don't want DeMarcus Cousins. I don't think it makes sense to put him in Dallas. I'll describe why a little bit more here in a minute. But in the comment section below, you can tell me if you want DeMarcus Cousins in Dallas, why. If you do want him in, if you say no thank you. Like I say, I'm good on DeMarcus Cousins. Now, before I tell you exactly why I don't want Boogie, because it's not that he's a bad player, but got some other reasons, I want to tell you to go subscribe to youtube.com/allthingsmavs. We are growing like crazy. The past week, we gained over 1,000 new subscribers. So thank you guys for that. But we want to keep the numbers growing because we've got 24/7 Dallas Mavericks coverage over on that channel. We're talking, you guessed it, all things Mavs all the time. So go hit that big red subscribe button. Help us get to 3,000. We've got a lot of big men. We've got Kristaps Porzingis. We've got Maxi Kleber. We've got Willie Cauley-Stein and Boban Marjanovic. And KP and Maxi are obviously carrying the load there. I mean, they're playing most of the time. And, Dwight Powell is there as well, but he's hurt, so we're not going to talk about him on today's show. But then you got Willie Cauley-Stein and Boban Marjanovic, two guys who are both averaging 6 and 7 points. Neither of them are playing quite that much, and they could play a whole lot more. And I'd like to see them both play more, but maybe you think one of them should play a little bit more than the other. So I'm going to ask you guys right here before I dive into both of them. Who do you want to see get some more minutes? Type W for Willie Cauley-Stein, type B for Boban Marjanovic. Now, the reason, again, I'm out on Boogie Cousins is because these guys are barely playing. And these guys are great basketball players. In fact, I think they're above average centers in the league. So let's start off with Willie Cauley-Stein here. Now, he's traded from the Warriors for literally the number 55 overall pick in the draft. And the Mavs got him, and he was a good lob threat. They picked him up after Dwight Powell went down. But then he only plays in 13 games. He starts 2 of them. And when he does play, he's only playing 12 minutes per game. Didn't make a lot of sense to me. And then he's getting into a little bit of a groove, and then he had to take some time off because he actually had a kid, and Mavs fans were like, oh, he's mad that he's not playing. No, pump the brakes. That's not what happened. He had to go take care of his kid, okay? And so one of the best games he had was a game in which he got to play over 20 minutes. Now, of course, it was against the Charlotte Hornets, who are absolute garbage, but he still put up 15 points and 10 rebounds. He blocked 2 shots, and in those 25 minutes, looks like a really good rotational big. So why does Rick Carlisle not play him more? I'm not really sure. Maybe it's because he can't shoot, but I think he deserves a lot more minutes when the season comes back. But another guy who deserves more minutes, and a guy that Mavs fans and NBA fans around the world absolutely love, is Boban Marjanovic. Now, yes, he's played in short spurts throughout the season. When he comes in, he gives you a solid 5 to 10 minutes. He's not going to play the whole game because he can't move that well. But averaging just 9 minutes per game, that's absolutely nuts, especially when what he did against the Denver Nuggets before the NBA just took a break. He put up 31 points, pulled down 17 rebounds. He got 2 steals, playing in over 30 minutes. Now, that's not going to happen every single night, but he was so good that night that the NBA had to take a break. They said, oh, no, we got Boban on the loose. We can't let him play every night. We got to take a little hiatus. So that's actually what happened. Don't let anyone tell you anything different. So we've got 2 great big men. I'm out on Boogie Cousins, but you want some more big men minutes. Who do you want to give them to? Let me know in the comments section below. Mavs fans, thank you again for watching, and I'll see you next time.